So I left them, went up to the front of the street, stood there and watched this huge orange globe, which couldn't be anything that we could conventionally describe.
Since the early 60s, there have been several claims of alien abduction, with abductees claiming to have been subjected to different physical, psychological, and sexual experiments by extraterrestrial beings. Some experiences even claim to have been taught some hidden knowledge by the aliens, stating that they now have some premonition into the future of mankind. Such is the story of Alec Newold, a plane vehicle dealer who suddenly found his 3-hour drive turn into a 10-day journey with absolutely no memories of what had happened. The days that followed saw his dramatic recovery as he gradually regained his memories. He told of his sudden alien abduction and how he had learnt some hidden truths about the human race. Join us as we explore the adventure of Alec Newold in the city of the extraterrestrials. Alec Newold encounters aliens. In 1989, Alec Newold set out on what seemed like an ordinary 3-hour drive from Rotorua to Auckland in New Zealand. However, when he returned, 10 days had passed, 10 days he couldn't account for. His friends and family, who were shocked and confused, bombarded him with questions he couldn't explain. What happened during that lost time? Where had he been? Alec himself had no idea, at least not at first. It wasn't long before really disturbing signs began to appear. He started having disturbing dreams, strange memories, and an overwhelming feeling that something was terribly wrong. Gradually, the pieces of that lost period started coming together. The reality he uncovered was beyond anything he could have imagined. He had been abducted by aliens. Alec vividly recalls that one moment he was driving, and the next, everything had changed. His car was gone. He didn't even feel like he had a body anymore. He was only drifting in space. He described the sensation as if his physical form had been sifted through a sieve, leaving only a glowing, ghost-like entity. When he finally regained consciousness, he found himself face to face with beings unlike anything he had ever seen. These beings were odd, with skinny bodies, large heads, and small, piercing eyes. Their small eyes and prominent faces left Alec with little doubt. They were indeed aliens. Meanwhile, despite the absence of spoken words, Alec sensed a communication happening in his mind. The aliens had offered him a suite that helped him understand their communication better. One of them, who Alec identified as the leader of the group, welcomed him and assured him that he was safe. Even though he expressed his strong desire for Alec to stay, this leader emphasized that Alec was free to leave at any time. According to the alien, they were eager to share their knowledge of the world and hidden truths of existence. Captured by this telepathic encounter, Alec was torn between the pull to return home and the irresistible curiosity of what knowledge the aliens had to offer. He agreed to stay and learn from these mysterious beings, setting the stage for an experience that would forever alter his understanding of reality. The city that housed the aliens was beyond anything he had ever imagined. In his book, his portrayal of the alien city paints a picture that dwarfs the architecture found on Earth. While acknowledging that Earth has its own large cities, Alec tells us that the city he visited was vast, stretching along the coastline beyond what he could see. Even though the city was nestled in a narrow strip of land between the coast and desert, giving it an isolated feel, it was still very unique. Unlike the towering skyscrapers that dominate modern cityscapes, this place featured intriguing structures with sleek and really high towers. Even the tops of these towers, which Alec couldn't initially make out clearly, turned out to be spiral towers or antennas, which extended the height of the building. To top it off, the giant bulb that capped the tower of each building added an additional 25% to their height. He then went further to describe the house and the room where he stayed, narrating how he was captivated by its elegance. The hidden truths about the nature of man. However, sightseeing was merely a secondary aspect of his encounter. Remember, the true purpose was to acquire and disseminate knowledge. The extraterrestrials revealed that Earth's history is riddled with forgotten stories, safeguarded by some secret organizations that have kept these truths from the general populace. These enigmatic guardians have long ensured that the real narrative of Earth remains hidden, leaving most people to speculate and piece together fragments of the larger picture. Initially, these groups were intended to share this ancient wisdom with the world, but over time, for some reasons, their mission shifted to one of secrecy. According to Alec, the extraterrestrial beings shared intriguing insights about two distinct types of humans, Homo sapiens and Cro-Magnon. Allegedly created by advanced beings around 70,000 years ago, these species marked a pivotal point in human evolution. Cro-Magnon, while not the first humanoid entity to walk the Earth, was designed uniquely to serve as a vessel for another non-physical being. This design supposedly allowed the non-physical entity to experience the physical world through the human form. The idea echoes various religious beliefs that differentiate between the body and the soul or spirit. For instance, both Christianity and Islam emphasize the importance of nurturing the soul over succumbing to bodily desires, with the Christians describing the body as a temple of the Holy Spirit. However, some individuals misinterpret these teachings, leading to extreme actions like suicide bombings under the false belief that their souls will be preserved, while the body, merely a temporary vessel, is destroyed. In a CNN exclusive interview, a man, guarded and speaking from within a prison cell, expressed his conviction that true life only begins after death. Alec received this information from a female alien, whom he referred to as Xena. Alec described Xena as resembling the classic depiction of a grey alien, but with a distinct blue skin tone. He described her entire species as the Blues. Alec continued to immerse himself in the rich culture of the Havanites, exploring their vast knowledge repository housed within one of their iconic pyramid structures. During his interactions with Xena, he learned about the varied paths her people took. Some journeyed to Earth, while others chose different destinies. Xena explained that the pyramids and ancient remnants left by her ancestors were designed to guide humanity when the moment of awakening arrives. She spoke of Earth's unique beauty, which has drawn the interest of various powerful entities with selfish intentions, similar to the narratives found in comics or characters like Loki from the Avengers. Through telepathic thought and imagery, Xena subsequently shared with Alec glimpses of Earth's future, predicting a period of significant transformation following environmental crises in regions such as Japan and the Gulf of Mexico. She reveals to Alec that her group had been conducting a groundbreaking experiment aimed at reaching a higher state of evolution. This brings us to the chilling warning of the aliens, as described by Alec. The Dark Force. Soon, Alec learns of a malevolent force that has been on Earth with the intent of claiming the planet for itself. According to Xena, this spiteful force won't stop until it succeeds. She explains that this dark presence still walks among us, blending in like any other human. Once it has fully taken over, it will realize that the battle is far from over, as humanity, driven by a newfound spiritual awakening, is no longer the same as it once was. Instead, we are evolving toward a state of enlightenment that poses a significant challenge to this dark force. In her explanation, Xena describes how humanity was once nearly as powerful as the mysterious force. This betrayal weakened humanity, setting us back thousands of years and reducing us to a mere shadow of our potential. According to Xena, this malevolent force, often referred to as the force of darkness, opposes enlightenment and permeates our world, present in the air we breathe and in every corner of our existence. She suggests that this force's influence is what has aligned it with Earth, drawing parallels to various cultural legends about a time when humanity was far more advanced. However, our downfall was brought about by war, greed, and the darker aspects of human nature. Xena's narrative echoes ancient stories, like the biblical account of a superior race that lost everything after the fall in the Garden of Eden. This was just one of the extraordinary stories Xena recounted. Among others was a revelation about an underwater base where she and her people reside. She also told Alec that she communicates with numerous other humans, imparting wisdom intended for humanity. However, Alec noted that the reception of these messages suggested that humanity might not yet be prepared to fully embrace what Xena and her people have to share. Alec's ordeal after his return. When Alec first recounted part of his extraordinary experience, it immediately captured widespread attention, just like the suspense of a gripping thriller. His disclosure sparked a whirlwind of interest from various quarters: law enforcement, scientists, the CIA. Everyone was desperate to uncover the truth about the extraterrestrials Alec had described. Their questioning was relentless, almost as if they believed he was guilty of some wrongdoing. Soon after, Alec began to notice a mysterious car tailing him, a car he had never seen before. It would linger at the end of his street, just 2 houses down from his. The constant surveillance made Alec feel uneasy, as though he were being treated like a criminal. Seeking a fresh start, he decided to relocate, hoping to evade his pursuers. But even in his new surroundings, the shadowy figures continued to follow him until they finally decided to make direct contact. Alec found himself under intense interrogation and faced a rather confusing string of accusations, including a baseless claim that he was linked to Nazi affiliations due to his father's German heritage. Despite being a lifelong New Zealand resident and citizen, he was unjustly targeted with these absurd allegations, even though he was the one who had undergone an alien abduction. The situation escalated when subtle threats were made, suggesting that his life could become quite difficult if he didn't comply. Although no immediate actions could be taken against him without attracting significant attention, Alec's response to these threats was to thank his accusers and dismiss them. In the aftermath of the 1987 stock market crash, Alec's career as a motor vehicle dealer came to an abrupt end. Although he was no longer officially licensed, he continued to engage in buying and selling cars privately. During this period, Alec crossed paths with Jeff Wright at a prominent car auction in Auckland. Jeff, claiming to have access to a steady supply of second-hand Japanese vehicles, convinced Alec of his legitimacy. Trusting Jeff's assurances, Alec decided to collaborate with him, and they worked together for nearly 9 months. Their arrangement involved Jeff offering Alec various cars, which Alec would purchase if financially feasible. Alec's story in his book. After his release, Alec returned to Auckland, where he was left with nothing but his story. He channeled his experiences into writing for Nexus magazine, and his book has since been revised and republished. This raises a persistent question. If Alec's tale were merely a fabrication, why did the authorities exert such effort to extract information from him before he was ready to speak? This intense interest suggests they believed his account and wanted to control the dissemination of his revelations. But then, many have described Alec's story to be a case of vivid imagination. Some even question whether the story of alien encounters is genuine, saying that it leans more towards the realm of fiction. This could be because the extraordinary elements of his narrative make it seem more like a story than a factual recount. According to Alec's account, This wasn't his first encounter with something otherworldly. He recalls a similar experience from his childhood when he was the sole witness to an alien presence. During an interview, Alec recounts how he was paralyzed with fear when one of these strange beings made eye contact with him. In a recorded recollection, he describes a vivid memory from his youth. Alec mentions that he was walking along what he referred to as a dragon line on his way to school, a path where mystical energies supposedly converge. As he passed through a park located on this line, a sudden burst of light caught his attention. Alec explains that it was as if a flash of lightning had struck the area, making everything around him seem surreal. His stories definitely catch attention, especially since his recollections of alien encounters from his childhood surfaced rather unexpectedly. However, to get the complete account of these early experiences, we'd need to purchase his third book. This has particularly caused a lot of people to raise eyebrows, again questioning the authenticity of his narrative. During one interview, he described what happened to him as a rare and random event, yet he continues to share multiple instances from his youth when he supposedly saw aliens in the park. Curiously, none of these encounters had any other witnesses. This raises more mind-boggling questions. Is there some sort of selection process for who gets to see aliens, or is it all just chance? And if he believes the world deserves to know about these experiences, why restrict the details to those willing to pay for his book? This again keeps us wondering whether he truly experienced an abduction or if he's simply a skilled storyteller. Should his story ever be ruled as false, it would undoubtedly stand out as a captivating piece of fiction, given how well it's written. In all, Alec's journey into the unknown challenges our understanding of reality. Whether we believe his story or not, one thing is certain: it opens the door to questions that have no easy answers. And perhaps that's exactly what we need. A subtle reminder that the universe is vast, mysterious, and full of possibilities that we have yet to explore. If Alec's story has piqued your curiosity, consider reading his book and diving deeper into his incredible experiences. Share your thoughts with us. How would you rate Alec Newald's alien abduction story? Do you also feel his book could be a masterpiece of fiction rather than truth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.